visible for all of you, no? There. We have to start root 53. First of all, what exactly is a root 53? So root 53 is a DNS service. As you know that DNS is used for name resolution. Okay, when we have to resolve host name to IP address and IP address to host name, that is DNS. So in this entire world, if DNS server goes down just for a minute even, it will be a very big loss for all the countries. They will not be able to use internet. Lot of dependencies are there. Even if you know the IP address of server, you will not be able to access because there is a protection in WAF, Web Application Firewall, that if you are trying to access any server through IP, that will get blocked. You have to access only through the name, and for that there is a one thing called certificate. So valid certificate is required. So certificate is what? It is a combination of private key and public key that is used for encryption of the connection. Okay. So there is the importance of DNS. So the importance is without DNS we cannot access even our server in our network, own network, and on the internet also. So DNS is what? Domain name service and used for name resolution. Host name to IP address to host name. So host name, whenever we say, there are two things. One is called uh, NetBIOS name. NetBIOS name. Okay. So first 15 character of your computer name is what? NetBIOS. So host name, computer name, and NetBIOS name. There is a difference in these all three. Whenever anyone says computer name doesn't mean the host name. Both are not same. Okay. Host no sorry. Host name is same. There is a one more thing called FQDN. FQDN. That is stands for fully qualified domain name. Okay. So what exactly is a fully qualified domain name? So it is host name plus domain name. Domain name means like we have na yahoo.com, google.com, microsoft.com. So these are what example of domain name. Now what exactly is a domain? So domain is a group. Okay. Whenever we talk about domain means group. So don't get confused in this domain when it comes domain name, nothing, just a group name. Microsoft group, Tata group, Infosys group. So they use a group tag when you are the device or the user is a part of that group. Their email address comes with that group name as a tag at the rate infosys.com. Like we say na, what was this name? Oh, he died also. You see, in some name, the place name is also attached. Like here we have na Firak Gorakhpuri means what? It belongs to the place Gorakhpur. Similarly, when your email ID is created, there is a at the rate gmail.com. At the rate your company, whatever name is there, .com, .net, whatever. So what does it refers to? It refers to you are a part of that organization. You are a part of that group. So similarly, here when we talk about the FQDN, so FQDN means host name plus domain name, and domain name is the group name. Okay, so domain name will be always your organization name. Okay. Next is FQDN, fully qualified domain name. So DNS resolves FQDN. It resolves hostname also, but most of the time DNS resolves FQDN, fully qualified domain name. Hostname equal to device name, and it can be up to 255 characters. So that is the length of any FQDN. Till here things are clear. Any confusion? Now, when we talk about DNS, DNS stands for domain name system. Okay, it's not domain name service; it's a domain name system. Okay, it is used for host name to resolution. So that is the work only of DNS, nothing else. Only it resolves the name. Like how you have phone book in your mobile phone. Similarly, we have DNS as a phone book, you can say here in this our network. So when we need to call anyone, we don't search by number. We call by name, and that name is resolved in mobile number with the help of our phone book. Okay, so automatically when we select name, then the queries internally rotates and it fetch the mobile number from the phone book. Similarly here, when we type google.com, facebook.com, then the queries goes to DNS, and then DNS checks in its database, and from there it gives the IP address. Clear? Now, it uses TCP and UDP service at transport layer. So you know we have OSI reference model. In that OSI reference model, layer 4 is known as transport layer. So at transport layer, we have generally two type of service: TCP, UDP, reliable, unreliable, or we can say connection oriented, connectionless. So TCP is connection oriented. Connection oriented means whenever it has to transfer data, it will first establish the connection, then it will transfer the data. Okay, it will not simply send the data. Plus TCP ensures the packet reaches to the destination. If it does not reach, it will retransmit the data. It will send the data, it will wait for the acknowledgement that yes, I have received this packet. If not receive the acknowledgement, then it will resend the data. So that is the feature of TCP, transmission control protocol. And that's why we say TCP as a reliable transport protocol. We say TCP as a connection oriented protocol. But because of this all responsibility and these all checks, TCP works slow in compared to UDP, because UDP is connectionless protocol, unreliable protocol. Because if you give any data or if you want to send any data using UDP, it will immediately transfer the data. It will not establish the connection. It will not make sure your data reaches to the destination. Okay? So that's why we say UDP as a unreliable protocol and connectionless protocol. So this DNS uses both. Okay. Now its port number is 53. So as you know, every protocol one port number is assigned, that is 53 altogether. Whenever any queries comes, then how the name is resolved. Okay, or we can say process. So first, whenever we type anything like google.com, yahoo.com, facebook.com, it is resolved from local DNS cache. Local DNS cache means if that name is recently resolved, that will be in the cache memory of our computer, mobile, whatever we are using. So if you have recently accessed Facebook, try accessing once again. You will see it will be faster in compared to the previous. Reason, in the first query is when the system has not accessed the Facebook, so it does not know the IP address of Facebook. So it will send the query to DNS server. DNS server will give IP address. Then it will send request to Facebook. So it takes time. But next time, recently it has resolved, so that IP will be in the cache. So first it will check from the cache, it will get the IP and immediately it will send the data. So that's why next time it becomes easier. Then local host file. Local host file means if there is a one host file. If you see here, uh, C drive, then there is a Windows folder. In Windows folder, we have System32. Okay, C drive, Windows, System32. In this System32, there is a folder called drivers. In this driver, the folder is etc. In this etc, you can see the file host. So this host file contains the local entry. Local entry means if you set here that for this specific name, this is the IP address, like this you can set it here. And it is similar to our Linux script. In Linux, if we have to disable anything, we put hash before. Okay, so here some IPs are there, but hash is mentioned, so it will not be effective. If I remove this hash, means for this name, we will have this IP address. So like this, we can do entries. So very long back, when I was reading, on that time we use this method to block Facebook. So what we do, we give wrong IP address here, like any private IP address, and then write www.facebook.com. So as per the process, when anyone is going to type facebook.com, where the queries goes? Host file. Host file says this is the IP address of Facebook. And when computers send request on that IP does not exist. So we were not able to access Facebook using this method, or we were able to block the Facebook. Understood? So like this here we can do the entry in the local host. So second step is it will search in the localhost file. Then the third is it will send the query to DNS server. So these are the three steps. So why you should know these all three steps? What is the use? These all things I am talking about local, but you are now working on cloud. You are thinking about cloud, but the problem is whatever you think, you are accessing through your laptop. So for DNS name resolution, everything starts from your laptop. So you should know what is the exact process. Suppose if there is any change in the DNS database, earlier IP was something, earlier name was something, it's changed. And if you are trying to access, you are not able to access, or it is taking the old IP address, then how you will do the troubleshooting? So that is the reason you should know the process. Okay. So suppose if there is any change and some other person is able to access and you are not able to access the same thing, you are not able to resolve the name from your computer. So what you will do as a troubleshooting? So DNS server, definitely it is not in your control as a client if you think. So you have two things only in control. One is host file, one is DNS cache. So you have to clear DNS cache because maybe recently it's resolved and it is taken from the cache. It is resolving the name from the cache. So for that we have command ipconfig plus DNS. So this is the command ipconfig space slash plus the DNS. You see, successfully flushed the DNS resolver cache. So whenever we do queries for any name or we type any host name, our computer first it will search in cache, DNS cache. If it is not there, then it will search in local host file, whether there is any entry or not. If it is not there also, then it will send the request to the DNS server. And how it will know who is the DNS server? Where I have to send the request? So that it will know when you are going to configure IP address, there you define this DNS. So when you configure IP, here you define the DNS server. And you define two DNS server, primary or alternate or secondary you can say. So first your request will go to this DNS server. If it is not responding, if it is not resolving, then it will try with another DNS server. Is it clear? So this is how the name resolution process happens. Now let me map with the AWS. So in AWS, you are going to create a DNS server, which is named as a root 53. We can create DNS server on Linux also. We can create DNS server on Windows also. Similarly, what are the things we can do locally is possible on cloud also. So in cloud, the same thing is referred as a root 53. Root means root for name resolution and 53 is our DNS port number. Clear this one? Okay. Now let me show you, if you are doing the troubleshooting, how you will identify where your request is going on. First, you will see your name, sorry, IP address of DNS. Another, whether your DNS is working properly or not. To test the DNS functionality, we have command nslookup. NS means name server, okay, and lookup means query. It is showing now who is the default server for me now, Google DNS. If it shows anything else, then you have to see, you have to understand, okay, my computer is always trying to send queries on this server. Sometimes you have configured some different IP on your interface as a DNS server. But if it is that is not showing here, means there is a problem. So we need to update the IP once again on the interface. Now you want to know what is the IP address of google.co.in. You got it. IP version 4 and IP version 6. Okay. Now I want to know whose IP address is this. So this is the actual host name or fully qualified domain. Then you will say, then what is this google.com? So this one is mapped with this as an alias. Understood? So that's why we are doing it. So any confusion in this query resolution and all? Hmm? So this is to test whether your DNS is working properly or not. If suppose I have added one record there, server.tanveer.com. So whatever IP I have given, whether that server is responding with the same IP or not. So I will type here server.tanveer.com and I will see it is responding with the same IP which I have mentioned in the record. If yes, then it's okay. If not, then we need to find where is the problem. Clear? Now, this DNS is having different records. Okay. So first, let us talk about DNS zone. Okay. So what is zone here in DNS? So zone means uh, database. Okay. So zone means here database. So there are two type of zone based on the queries. One is called forward lookup zone. So forward lookup zone means what? It contains host name to IP address and used for forward lookup queries means in forward lookup zone first name is added, then IP address is added, and database is arranged as per the name. Okay, like it will arrange in ascending order based on the name, not based on the IP address. So if anyone is searching for any host name, I want IP address of this host name, and if database is arranged alphabetically, it is very easier to search. Okay, that's why there are two separate zones: forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. Okay? So if someone is going to query for this host name to IP, then the answer will be given from reverse. It contains IP address to host name and used for reverse lookup queries. Okay, so that is the another type of database which is available in DNS. What are the types of record we have in DNS? First one is called host record, and it is referred with A or 4 times A. Host name to IP address, that is called host record, and it is referred with single A and 4 times A. So when it will be referred with single A. When it is hostname to IP version 4, and when it is hostname to IP version 6, then it will be referred with 4 times A. Is it clear? So hostname to IP address, when we are going to add, that will add to A record. Similarly, the another is PTR. We say it as a pointer record. IP to hostname. Another is MX record. MX stands for mail exchanger. Okay. Email server record. Who is our email server? Then we have NS record. NS record means name server. A name server means what? Hmm? Name server means DNS server. Who are the DNS server in our network? So here, if you see, I have not written email server to IP address. I have not written DNS server with IP address. Name and IP address will be added in the host record and pointer record. Only in these records it will map that who is the email server, and that mapping will point towards the host record. Understood? So that will be done here while creating the NS record. Then we have SOA record, a start of authority. Contain name of authorized DNS server for this zone. Why we say authorized means there can be more than one DNS server, but who is responsible for name resolution? That name will be mentioned in SOA record. So this record SOA is created automatically. So when you create a DNS server and zone, this record will be created automatically. SOA and NS, two records are created. Then we create uh, host records and other records by our own. One more type of record is called CNAME or alias. Canonical name, short name, or additional name for any host record. Like just now we have seen, that was the. So these are the types of record. Apart from that, other records are also there. But these are the common records we should know. So when you go for any interview and if they are going to ask you about DNS, definitely they will ask these all things what I am sharing. I've just summarized the important points of the DNS which you should know. Else in DNS, there are a lot of things. If you search over the internet or in the market, you will find a complete book of 1,000 pages only on DNS. Okay? Because DNS is like a backbone of internet. Without that, it cannot work, even in the network. Okay? So that's why we should know each and everything of the DNS. When you are working on only DNS, then that much level of knowledge is required. But at least as a normal IT engineer, you should know about DNS functionality, how it works, and what are the common terms used in DNS, like these records, the query types, how it resolves. Okay. Now the next is DNS hierarchy. structure. First, here is a root domain. So root domain is, it is represented with dot. Next is top level domain. It represents type of organization. Example .com, .net, .mil, .org, and so on. So these all are top level domains. Then we say as a second level domain, and that is name of organization. Example Microsoft, Infosys, and so on. So why I have talked about this DNS hierarchical structure? So you can see here on the top it is that root, which is the dot, then it comes to first level, then it comes to second level. So it means what? When we type www.google.com, so it starts from the dot of the com. So it doesn't mean that from there it starts and it leaves the second dot. No. Root level domain means the central repository where all the records are there. That is called dot. Okay. Then it will check what is the first thing, that is type of organization, top level domain. What comes with your domain name, .net, .org. Then there is a separate database for .com, .net, .org. So if it find it is .org, for example, it will forward the request towards .org database to search. Then there it will search what is the second level domain. Then it will come to know, okay, the second level domain is Microsoft. Then it will search in the record of Microsoft that what does www means. Understood? So this is how it is going to filter the query and search from the database. When? When we are searching in public DNS. Because lot of requests are coming. Someone is searching for .net, .com, .org, .sbi. Lot of top level domains are there. So it filter first based on the top level, make it side, and then from the top level it is filtered based on the second level domain. So whenever you are going to register your domain, then for the domain name registration, let me show you GoDaddy domain registration. So there are a lot of websites through which we can register this domain. So here, what do you want? So for example, I want to register my website or my company with the name tanvi.com. So it should give me, it will take price, it should give me the name tanvi.com. It will not give. Why it will not give? Because you see, it has been already taken. Central repository is there. So that's why we need to register the domain, else everyone will take any name. So if I want alternative, I have the option tanvi.co.in, and this one is used by someone, and if I want, I can take it in 10,000 as a broker service, and something like that. So I don't need. So here is rupees 49 first year only with 3 years terms. That if I'm going to take it for 3 years, then for first year it will be 49 rupees. After that, it may charge 1,000 rupees or whatever will be the charges. Understood? So this is how we search for. If I search for EDU, I have education, net option, app, club, like these options. That's it. Understood. So these .net, .xyz, .app, .com.au, .co.in, these all are top level domains. And here the Tanveer is second level domain, name of the organization. This is clear. So whenever I pay for it, then under the tanveer.com, they will give me option to create the records. Then I will create the record server1.tanveer.com, server10.tanveer.com, like that. And one of the website which I want to be accessed from everyone, I will create alias for that host name as a www. So then it will become www.tanveer.com. So if anyone is trying to access www, so www is not a server. It does not exist anywhere as a server. So the request will go to DNS. DNS will find, okay, who is www? This is the server. So it will give server IP. So request will come to that server and server will give the web page. Understood? So this is how it works. Now here we have lot of top level domains. If you search, you will find this list of top level domains. See, these all are top level. We know only about few names: .org, .net, .edu, .gov. These all are the top level. These are the valid list, and it is given by INA. And you know already the INA is the head of all, which maintains these all records. So is it clear? Any confusion? So a lot of confusion will be there because this class was totally theoretical. But yes, it needs for the knowledge, and I'm going to add this all in your AWS. And who has messaged me yesterday for these notes? That notes are not accessible. One was there. This one. This note is not. We are not able to download. His name is also like tilde. So whenever I share any notes, immediately I say you to download. It is on WhatsApp now, so you will not be able to download maybe later. Maybe last better I will give everything. Okay. So this one is na DNS and Route 53. So next class we will have Route 53, and if we don't get time for complete this Lambda also tomorrow, then Wednesday also we will have class. Okay. So Route 53, it will not take much more time. I think maximum 15-20 minutes, because everything will not be able to see here we need to purchase the domain on the cloud, then we can register and see the name resolution. So that much you will not see. At least you will see how the resolution happens here.